the marketing for art storefronts. It means I'm one of the people that helps our members, our artists and photographers, with their marketing. Right. So I'm an art marketer, a marketing consultant, and I help out our members in Zoom like this many times a week in our private Facebook group. They're going to bring stuff to me like, I have this opportunity coming up. How good of an opportunity is this? And if I go forward with it, how can I maximize it? How can I really get every last drop out of this chance to be in this show or this online whatever? I'll give them some advice on that. They'll come back to me with, it's all set up. I'm about to do it. We go back and forth and we work together on how to build their businesses the right way and do all the right things.
Recording in progress.
Today, I'm here to do kind of the same thing, but for you guys who are not members. So we won't, have the rapport to get too deep into things, I can imagine. But if you have a quick question or something you've been curious about, building your art business, getting it started, getting it from good to great, all that sort of stuff, what platforms to focus on, what activities to focus on. We're going to do that today in a Q&A style session. I can also answer any questions about art storefronts, of course. The other thing I want to tell you though, up front, there's kind of a split here. If you're looking for a product demo of art storefronts, you're looking to see what art storefronts is about, not just this Q&A. We are also running a demo right now on Zoom in a different session. So I want to get you the link to that. And we're doing that because today is the last day of our summer sale. We always run our biggest sale of the year in June and July because based on our advice, it all kind of picks up in August. That's all based around Q4, the holiday season, November and December mainly. That's where most of our members and most artists overall sell the majority of their work for the whole year is kind of concentrated in the holiday season. So obviously it's a really, really big deal to prepare for it, to execute at a very high level with the marketing for the Q4 season. And it actually starts all the way up in August. That's when we kind of get everything started with our members, telling them what to do on a daily and weekly basis to get that engine going so that by the time November and December does come, their business is ready for it. They've got a whole lot of, as we call it, warmed up leads, a lot of warmed up collectors on their list that are ready to purchase. You can't create that overnight. You've got to start the work ahead of time. So all that to say, if you want to have a successful holiday season in November and December, you do want to start as soon as possible. Like next week is where you should really kick off on being more consistent and active than ever with your digital marketing to get well ahead of when you need to have a kind of thriving business in place, which is that kind of November target. So we always run this sale in July to get people in right before it's too late. If we ran like a Black Friday sale later in October, November, with the goal of generating you a bunch of sales for the holiday season, that would be too late. You can't just start in the midst of that season. You need to actually get yourself ready for it. So we're kind of running our Black Friday sale right now in July. So anyways, because it's the last day of the sale, we are doing live demos all day long on Zoom. We usually, if you've been following our emails for a while, we usually have you go through requesting a demo. You'll get like a one-on-one call. We're kind of scrapping that on the last day because we know how many people want to kind of just see everything and get the sale pricing and just get the whole overview of that. So what we have is several Zoom sessions that are going to be product demos. Look through the features, the website features, look at the marketing program, that type of stuff that we won't be doing in this session. So I just put the link in the chat. Let me do one thing here to get it there. If you would like to switch over, I will not be offended. Feel free to leave this session. You can go into the product demo version if you would like to do that. If you stick around here, you're going to get a Q&A. You're going to get some value on how to kind of get started with art marketing, some of those fundamentals, and you can ask me directly any questions you have. So that's what you're going to get here. In the other session I put in the chat, you're going to get right into a screen share of here's what Art Storefronts is, here's what it costs, all that sort of stuff. So kind of choose your own adventure based on what you're interested in today. Like I said, you're free to leave this session. Make sure you copy the password before you leave. Otherwise, if you didn't grab that password I put in there, you're not going to be able to get into the other session. So that's available. Also, that's happening right now. We have another one coming up at 1:30 p.m. Central. It's currently 1:07 p.m. Central if you're not in our same time zone. At 1:30 p.m. Central, we're going to do another session, and then we're going to do one last one right at the end of the day at 5:30 p.m. Central. If you would like to get into the 1:30 or the 5:30, you just need to give me your email address and which time slot you want the link to, and we'll follow up and get you the link. Okay, so you can put your email and the time you want in the chat. You can private message it to me, or you can just put it in the chat at large. We'll follow up with you and get you those links. That's 1:30 and 5:30. If you want to switch right now, that's the link in the chat. Hope that's not too complicated. I tried to not give you a whole bunch of links to work with, but that's what we have going on. I see Cynthia. We'll follow up with you there and get you the link to the 5:30 p.m. demo. Okay, with all of that, I see you, Andy. I see you, Grace. Thanks a lot. Let me just make sure this gets to our team so we can send you that email. Follow up. There we go. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. I'll do some fundamentals coverage right off the top. That way, whether you have a question or not, you should get some value, right, just from this little segment here. And then, like I said, if you do have some questions, ask them to me. You can put your questions in the chat. You can also use the raise hand button in Zoom if you would like me to unmute you so we can just talk back and forth. The raise hand button is in the reactions area of Zoom. Under my head, there's something that says reactions. You click that and then you'll see raise hand. That's your signal to be unmuted. Otherwise, go ahead and just type it in the chat and I'll sweep through those and answer whatever I can. Like I said, it can be about art storefronts, but it can just be about your business too. I'm happy to help you with whatever you're curious about, whatever you haven't been making connect recently, whatever your greatest challenge seems to be, the one thing that's kind of in your way from selling more artwork. Typically, artists kind of guesses about what that challenge is, isn't the real challenge, right? That's kind of a lot of what I do is unwind what people think is in their way and kind of show, they're actually ignoring a lot of things that work. Anyways, let me get you some value up top with what I call the number one metric of an art business. I'll get my screen share going just for the visual. Okay, the number one metric of every art and photo business is not sales. So this is like an early fundamental. You've got to get past this before any effective marketing is going to happen. You've got to pick a number one metric when you're running a business. You've got a lot of data coming your way. When you have a website, you're going to get all sorts of analytics through your website about, the traffic and the conversion rates and the bounce rate and all sorts of stuff. You have to pick just one metric that above all else you're trying to drive. You're really trying to inflate this one thing. And what a lot of artists select is, of course, sales, because that is the overall goal. When you're not just creating as a hobby or a passion, you are making a go at selling your work. Of course, the entire point of everything you're doing is to sell the work. So it's easy to make your number one metric art sales. But what I want to tell you is that is often a mistake, and that often is delaying growth of art businesses by many years because decisions are being made based on the number one metric being sales. A company that can have that number one metric as sales is something like a quick impulse buy e-commerce product, where they're going to make all their decisions around the idea that if they can just get their product in front of their target audience, that target audience, a certain percentage of them will snap it up. They'll buy it right on the spot. So they'll make decisions like, we need to spend a whole bunch of money on advertising to blanket the internet with exposure to our product because they'll snatch it up. We just need to get the ROI, the return on investment right, but that's what we should be doing. Not a good idea with artwork. Artwork doesn't sell in this way. You can kind of see what I'm talking about here. If you've ever done an art show, if you've ever done an art fair, a gallery show, you'll know that out of all the people that come through your booth, your tent at one of these shows, like 99%, the enormous, almost total majority does not buy anything. You end up with thousands of people taking a look at the work on the way past and hopefully a few sales too. So what this thought process here that I'm sharing is all about is recognizing that 99% exists for artwork and to really care about the 99% because it's equivalent on website traffic, on social media. The vast majority of people that see artwork don't purchase artwork because artwork doesn't sell on first glance. Artwork sells based on relationships. Artwork sells when the collector or if it's a first-time buyer or an experienced collector, either way, when they've built up enough emotional attachment to the work and the artist behind it to develop some budget for acquiring and investing in the work. And that sort of stuff, relationships, budget building, warming up, all of that takes time. And you don't have any time if you're making decisions based on quick turnaround of sales. Like if I can just advertise across the internet and get eyes on my work, it'll sell. Well, it won't, right? Because you don't need it to sell right now. You need people to begin a relationship with you and your artwork that you'll work on over a few months until they have a sufficient level of emotional connection to purchase. So all of that leads to the fact that the number one metric is not sales, it's leads. A lead is simply a qualified email address on your list. And it needs to be on your email list, not just a social follow, because you can't take social followers away from that platform, right? So that's why we really qualify this as a lead should be an email address, because you can take an email list away. You own it, you've got it. It's on paper. You can print it, you can save it. It's in a spreadsheet. It's in, maybe use MailChimp as most people do, or maybe use a different emailing platform. Maybe you decide to change. Wherever you go, the email list is with you. If Instagram dies out, your followers are lost. You don't have them. You don't have access to them. You pop up on whatever the new platform is and you beg your Instagram followers, I'm over here now, please follow me. But you have to count on them seeing that message and agreeing to follow you in the other place, or else you just lose them. So qualified followers specifically on your email address so that you really own that contact and have permanent access to it until they want to unsubscribe, of course. Qualified leads are the number one metric. When you make this your number one metric, it means you start making decisions specifically to generate leads and not sales. You should actively ignore opportunities to try to sell your work today to instead focus on things that will get you leads today. This is a little sort of ironic and unintuitive, but this is what will actually increase the sales over time and most importantly, generate consistent sales. Because consistent sales with an art business is when every week throughout the year, it's someone's time on your email list to purchase. And they could have been on that list for 3 months or 8 months or 16 months or 25 months. Everyone's on their own path with that relationship building. But when you have enough people on your email list, it will always be someone's time. And that's where you start to unlock consistent sales and not this huge peaks and troughs shape that a lot of artists go through because they're selling based on kind of external opportunities. Like they got into a gallery show. That's so fantastic. They sold a bunch of work. And once that show is over, they have nothing else. Nothing else is coming. They have no email list from it. They split a lot of that money with the gallery. They're back at square one. They need to get the next opportunity. And you're again hunting for another one-time opportunity to try to get some sales. We really believe in the direct model, which is selling directly to consumers, because you can achieve consistency when you're making all your decisions based on generating leads. So I don't want to give too much away of our marketing program, but that'll give you a taste of kind of where we're coming from. And when you sign up for Art Storefronts, what you're hooking into is a system that's kind of optimized around generating leads for you so that you have a packed list of very interested fans that are not ready to purchase yet. That's really what you want more than anything, because you can really work with that. It doesn't need to be love at first sight in terms of a purchase right on the spot, like at the art fair where someone comes in and buys on the spot. It doesn't happen all that much. You're really caring about everyone else that says that stuff is beautiful and then walks away. It's all about saying, okay, walk away, but join my mailing list and I'll keep you up to date with what I'm doing. Like I said, over time, that is really the key. Make your decisions based on, is this going to get me more leads, or is what I'm spending my time on, a whole day, perhaps a whole week, perhaps even many months, for a lot of artists kind of not sure where to focus, is all of that time being spent around the hypothesis that people are going to buy my art on first look? Realize that's not how artwork sells. Artwork sells based on emotional connection. So do everything you can to start those relationships with as many people as possible. This will fix itself and turn your business into something that works. Okay, the second thing I wanted to show you is the results from a survey to our members. So twice a year, we send out a huge survey to all our members about all matter of things with their businesses and the art market and what they're experiencing and what they're selling and not selling. And, every conceivable question we try to get them to answer, because with 5,700 members here, it's a pretty unique access to what a whole lot of artists are experiencing, and them knowing what everyone else is experiencing can be really valuable. And I want to pass one of those results, those survey results, on to you. The question is, what have been the biggest factors so far in growing your art business? This is exclusively our members, 5,700 artists and photographers, all independent artists. What have been the biggest factors? They could select up to 2 here. So you can see the number one by double is marketing, learning and doing more of it in general. So this is really important, really eye-opening, that artists who are having success are getting there from doing marketing. Okay, that seems obvious, right? Because art is a business. Businesses need marketing to build, to grow, and art is no different. But you'll often find, perhaps in your own self, artists have been ignoring the obligation of marketing, right, in favor of a theory that perhaps a certain level of exposure will just set the business on a course where fish are jumping in the boat. You can see from our members, these are artists that are really pounding the pavement and working on generating a lot of consistent sales. Marketing in general has been by far the biggest factor in their growth. Let's look at what is not the number one answer, because I think that's equally interesting. The number 2 answer is getting my own website or improving the features of my website. That's a good second one, of course, offering a great buying experience to your collectors, all the visualization tools that people need to make a confident purchase. That makes sense to me. Third is pretty cool to see, working on my mindset. I think that might be a little bit tied in with the first one, because a lot of our newer members often have some mindset issues, some sort of internal roadblocks, like successful artists, or shall I say talented artists, don't need to do their own marketing because the talent is enough. Right? That should speak for itself. That's a huge mindset roadblock. So I'm glad to see that our members, at least in 3rd place here, responded with this, working on my mindset and kind of getting into an entrepreneurial state to build my business, to really focus on that. Further down, getting better at my craft. Kind of cool to see that, or interesting at least, right in the middle, getting better at my craft. Not the most important thing, seems to be kind of a middling response. Finding the right niche is in the middle. That's a lot of what I do in our Zoom sessions with our members, is just work through that niche discussion with them. There's a lot of presupposing that goes on with finding a niche that's not really rooted in just getting your work out there and finding a market. You shouldn't be calculating a niche decision within your own head without any external input. That's a quick tip for you. Here's a really cool one for me. Down here, marketing, finding one particular tactic that works. This is good to see that it's not too high up, because it doesn't reflect anything I've ever experienced with marketing in my years. It is never one killer strategy that just blows the whole business up. That's beyond rare. It's really this description up here: doing more marketing in general, not so much finding one thing you can just do infinitely that works. It doesn't really work like that. And as soon as there is something that seems to be that one magical tactic, marketers ruin it for each other by exhausting it, right? So email marketing was initially a total godsend, because 80% of your list would open every marketing email you sent. It was amazing access. And of course, marketers overdid email marketing, and now open rates are down at 20% in the art industry, 25%. We kind of destroyed that amazing opportunity in email marketing and moved on to the next thing, and so on. One particular tactic, if it does work, doesn't stay working for very long. It's really the more in general that is the key. And then the bottom tier here is networking, selling through online marketplaces like Etsy and Fine Art America. A lot of frustrations there. A lucky break, that's kind of interesting. Celeb connection or a viral post. Couple people responded that, but wasn't a big response. And then hiring a marketing consultant is at the bottom as well. And I can see that because you need mentoring and coaching and consulting, but you need it on a longer scale and more in depth than any artist can really afford through a traditional system like hiring a direct marketing consultant. You're going to get them and you're going to spend, $1,000, $2,000 on a month of time and one campaign, but no one campaign does a whole lot. So I can see that. Instead, that's why we have this whole model at Art Storefronts where we have group consulting sessions, right? So that's kind of how the service becomes possible. Is we'll have 20 people in Zoom and me helping all of them, kind of group chatting, dealing with direct issues one at a time. That kind of disperses the very high costs of consultants in a way that works for our membership. So you just pay the one-time membership fee, and then you've got consulting for life. There's no hourly fees or it's not renewal or anything like that. It's just you're in and you've got our coaching forever. But yeah, that traditional model at the bottom. So I thought you'd find this interesting in a variety of ways. Good to see some reinforcement that it sounds logical, but if you want to grow a business, good marketing is going to do it. Alrighty, we will get to the Q&A now. So like I said, leave any questions in the chat about the art business, challenges you have, what Art Storefronts is about, that sort of stuff. Happy to help you out. I'll check on Facebook as well. If you missed in the beginning, we are running a live demo session in a different Zoom at 1:30 p.m. Central. That's in 6 minutes. If you're interested in getting that product demo, if you want to see the nitty gritty and the pricing and all that sort of stuff, just message me your email address and say 1:30, and I'll follow up with the link so you can get into that session. Okay, I got a question from Grace here. Alrighty, I know there are a bunch of mini holidays throughout the year, and of course, Q4, Mother's Day are the biggies. What am I missing in the seasonal flow of sales? Is there something in the summer too? Yes, there are a couple of key moments in the summer to be selling your artwork. I am a little hesitant to detail them in too much detail so that we can leave some of that edge for our members. I will say one of the easier ones to mention is that you can always make up a sale yourself. It doesn't need to be rooted in a gift-giving holiday. It really helps when it is. For the big ones, as you mentioned, Mother's Day is the absolute monster early in the year, and then the Q4 holidays. But you can always make up a seasonal type of sale and get a little bit of edge from the fact that you'll be one of many fewer artists running a promotion at that time than you get for the holidays, where every single artist that does any marketing is surely running a sale. There's some good opportunities, and we're having our members do one next month in August to kind of make up a sale. You can always make one up, celebrate it yourself. As long as you write it up the right way with some good kind of festive language, you can make an excuse to sell. Alrighty. Art asks if we are collecting a % of sale. Yeah, we have transaction fees that are based on what plan you're in, but they are all in the realm of transaction fees, not like commission percentages that you get from galleries. So a gallery is going to slice off 50% or 40% if you're lucky, frankly. We have transaction fees that are more in like the 10 and 11% area for sales processed through the platform only. Those are sales through your website. And of course, it's your website. You can sell wherever you like though. So if you're selling in person, you're keeping 100% of that. If you're selling via some other direct method or taking payments on Venmo or PayPal, you keep 100% of that. If they buy through the website and use kind of the visualization tools and all that sort of stuff along the way, then the transaction fee comes into play. But like I said, we'll never charge a large commission like galleries do. Okay, Art also asks, are most customers selling originals or GK prints? They're selling both. Everyone is selling both based on our advisement to offer a wide range of price points and media types to suit every possible type of customer. And always, our kind of method here is to always get a sale for whatever they're willing to spend, and then work on getting the second sale at a much higher level product. That's always easier to do that. As soon as you can get them to spend any amount of money, to put any money down to give you their credit card information, it instantly becomes easier to turn them into a multi-piece collector over time, because they've already taken some sort of emotional and financial step to support you. It really helps. So overall, we advise everyone sells both. We have, sort of fringe cases where people are selling one or the other, like just an original base store. I would only advise an original only store. If you already have a lot of success selling originals, you know you're going to have no problem running your business with that model. For people that are just looking to do things the right way, they're not really sure what the right way is yet, they're just getting started, strongly recommend offering both so that you have a mid and a lower price point option for people as they're just starting to become fans early on. Other than that, you should be aware we have totally integrated print fulfillment. It's all automated and it's optional. So if you have your own printing setup, you do your own printing, you have a local printer you love, that's all fine, keep that. Or if you would like to, you can integrate with one of our print partners. That's Graphic Dimensions or Bay Photo. And you can just connect your site to their services so that when orders come in, it is automatically fired over to the fulfillment partner who prints the order, packages it, ships it in a box with your logo on it. You just get paid out for the order. You don't have any manual interaction with that. The originals, on the other hand, are all up to you to ship. You'll receive the order and you'll fulfill it yourself from there. B2B or B2C, 95% of our customers are selling to collectors directly, to consumers. It is a couple edge cases where we have, a B2B situation. We have a couple of people that are very successful commercially. So they're selling directly into the interior designers for hotels and offices and stores. And we have them on the Zoom sessions teaching everything they know about how to generate commercial sales. But I'll say it is a minority of people who are primarily successful commercially. Most of our members are looking to build a collector list and sell directly to consumers. Yep, you can accept PayPal. We integrate with Stripe so that you can accept all the major credit cards. Then you've got PayPal, you've got Google Pay. It's pretty flexible on how you accept payment. Okay, so yeah, we're starting that new demo right now in about 2 minutes. So kind of last call. If you would like the join link for that, just let me know your email address in 1:30. That session's getting started now. Anything else that you are curious about? April, just direct message Art there, the 1:30 link. Thanks, Andy. Gotcha, Paul, thanks. We'll send you the link right now. Like I mentioned, the reason we're doing these Zoom demos, a little bit unusual for us, but we're just trying to pack everyone in because the summer sale's ending today. Summer sale is designed to get people up and running for August, which is where our Q4 marketing begins. All of the groundwork is laid in August. September, things really get heated. And then October, we're into it. It happens very fast, October, November, December. Speaking of that, as I'm talking about kind of a lot of marketing campaigns, very common question is what you're looking at in terms of additional costs for marketing and hours spent. Hours spent is totally variable based on the week, the given week. So we have what's called the Art Marketing Calendar, which is a 365 days a year guide to marketing and artwork and art business, created by our marketing team, myself and the other marketers and the head of marketing all together, the CEO himself as well. We all kind of pour into this key resource that has a day-to-day task list for what to do, what to focus on each day of the week. It is fairly aspirational because most of our members aren't able to complete every single day of it, all the tasks on every single day. So most people are working on a as possible basis, trying to knock down as much as they can. That's pretty normal. That's okay. It's an aspirational guide, but it really helps you get on track with just what to focus on this week. And if there's anything contextual and special about this week or this month, where you shouldn't just waste your time doing the same old thing because there's something really special to do that's only happening this week, right? We let you know about all that sort of stuff. Anyways, following the calendar, how many hours does it take a week? Depends on what's on the calendar, but I will average it down to, I would say 5 hours a week of work. That will be exceeded in the heat of Q4. So if we're looking at November and December, December weeks 1 and 2 before it fizzles out a little bit, we might double that count, right? So it might be realistically 10 hours of work a week to execute everything we have on there. But again, you're encouraged to do as much as you can until you've got family obligations, you've got another job, perhaps you're parenting, whatever you got to do, you might have to tap out short of doing everything. If you want to do everything though, it's about 5 hours a week and then 10 hours during the really crazy times. I would say that's less than most people expect. And the reason that it is less is because most time artists spend on marketing is spent just trying to figure out what the heck to do, not really doing things, more about research and thinking and worrying and wondering, all that sort of stuff, and not just the action. So what the calendar lets you do is just punch into the action and say, I'm not going to spend any time thinking about what to do because I've got 3 tasks right here. I need to knock those out. And you find that you knocked them out in 20 minutes. So I could have easily spent 2 hours on YouTube trying to watch, other vloggers and reading tutorials. And a marketer here said this thing works really well this year. And all of a sudden you burn through all your time that day just kind of researching and learning, and you didn't actually implement anything for your business. So it's a bit of time investment, but you cut away all the slack, all the extra time that's just spent kind of figuring out and wondering what should I be doing right now? I know I should be doing something on Instagram. What is that thing? Should I go live? Do I have the guts to do that? How do I even do that? The calendar will just tell you, you should go live next Monday, and here's the full video tutorial on what to press and how to do that. In terms of extra costs, there are none. So this is an important element, is that we're really an all-in marketing program, in the sense that once you're in, our entire first year of strategy is free strategies to you. All that gets added on after the first year is a recommendation to do some Facebook advertising, Facebook and Instagram advertising. And by the way, it's important that we recommend not doing that advertising for the entire first year, or if you get successful very quickly, at least for the first 6 months, to not work on advertising yet, because it's very, very easy. Sorry about the truck going by, if you can hear that. It's very, very easy to blow a bunch of money on ads if you don't have a full set of fundamentals covered with your business. That would be like a way to get people into your kind of marketing loop, onto your mailing list, and then a way to be warming them up, getting them connected deeper to your artwork, filling them in on some key things that everyone should know in your list, and then running the right sales at the right time. Until you have that system, or engine as I'd call it, in place, pushing money into advertising just won't work, because you don't have you're not directing that attention that you get from the ads into a system that's going to work. You got to have the system and then pay to get more people in the system. So anyways, like I said, first year is all free. Second year, we start to advise you to do a little bit of advertising. By then, you should have the sales to cover it, to have an ads budget, so that you're not looking at it as extra fees. It's just taking some of your revenue and pushing it back into the business. Art asks, are you selling extra large prints or small? You got a whole range. It's based largely on the resolution of the photograph that you're going to be printing from. The sales team can help you with that in like a demo situation for the specifics of like how to get great images to print from and how large you can go. You're ultimately, say you have a fantastic image, you're ultimately limited by the total width printable through the machines at Bay Photo or Graphic Dimensions. So there is an upper limit that's like a hard stop due to the technology. But we don't have really any cases of people looking to go any larger, because once you go into massive prints, usually it's done via other technologies than the traditional fine art printing. Like we have like a wall wrap media type that's in massive multi-foot panels for being put up on like an entire wall. But at that point, you're switching to a kind of a vinyl wall wrap as opposed to paper, canvas, metal, acrylic, that sort of stuff. Small as well. So we recommend kind of how to set up which media types to offer and which sizes. Not specifically exactly what sizes, but primarily how not to offer so many sizes that it becomes challenging for consumers to make a decision. It's a big problem with sizes. If you offer inch by inch, so you have every possible width in inches available to sell, it promotes buyer behavior that you don't really want. It promotes people getting the ruler out, getting the tape measure out, and realizing that there are 3 or 4 or 5 options for their space. So they're shopping for above the fireplace, above the mantle, and they see, okay, well, we could get any of 4 or 5 options here because it's inch by inch. So what does it cost per inch? And what do we think about that? So it's going to be 2 more inches wide for $92. Is that worth it? These are not discussions you want them having at all. You want them to have the experience of measuring their space and seeing on your website, there's one size that works. Perfect. We've got it. That's the one. And then they order it. It never cascades to the second level of evaluation where it's like, not only is there one that fits, there's several. So how much exactly per inch do I want to spend? You don't really want to send people to that space. So we recommend spacing things out every couple inches, every few inches, so that you offer a clear, good fit for every possible wall space, but not a whole bunch of good fits for every wall space. Are you creating custom strategies to reach hotels? Yeah, so we do that kind of in combination with like our CEO has a lot of entrepreneurial experience. He's started several art businesses over the years, Breathing Color, if you know them. We kind of combine his insights for B2B selling with our most successful commercial members to present some strategies and advice on how to reach out to places like hotels and offices, how to find the key decision maker within those groups, how to create invoices, how to respond to situations like this isn't anywhere near as affordable as I thought, how to come back and try to save a relationship that gets kicked off like that, some sticker shock. So yeah, absolutely, we have that covered. Anything else for today, guys? Got nothing but trucks going by today. I guess we're near August 1st, big moving day. So that's not great for my audio experience here on the Zooms. Alrighty, looks like that'll do us for today. Thanks so much for joining in. Hope you picked up some tips or a little bit of coincidental advice that works for you. Again, my master tip, my big fundamental is make decisions that are going to generate you leads. That's email addresses. You will shortcut your way to more sales thinking that way, as opposed to really dialing in on how to generate instant sales. Eric asks, how do you go about acquiring emails, potential clients? So that's the obvious kind of next step is if I say you should focus on leads, how do you get leads? Every way you can, basically, but realize that you always need to incentivize leads, right? So this gets into a lot of kind of strategies that we keep for our members to not oversaturate them. Like when I was talking about how marketers ruin everything, just with our membership of 5,000 some members, we're going to ruin some of the stuff that we know works because 5,000 artists all doing the same strategy does ruin that strategy after a year or two. So we always have to be looking ahead on our team to think, okay, after this kind of burns out, what's the next great way to get leads? So I don't want to detail things too specifically, but just be aware that it's difficult to get people to join your email list off of the promise of really good emails. That's typically not enough. You instead need to give them something a little more exciting, a little bit of a better reason to get on that list. They'll initially join for that hook, and then turns out they really enjoy the emails. And that's an important key as well that I'll give you, is make sure the emails are very valuable, are highly valuable. It's very important to create a relationship where they have the experience of enjoying the fact that they opened your email. So this comes down to what we call romance marketing, which is basically an approach to content marketing, prioritizing content marketing over sales-based marketing for most of the year. So there are these key times where you do need to be pushing pretty hard to sell the work, to run promotions, to run sales, to show off different products that are available to purchase, different price points. You really hit that hard at the right times, like Q4, but all the rest of the time, you're not hitting it hard, and you're not silent. You're offering them value. This is really important. If you want them to see your great promotion in December, you need to be sending valuable content today that's training them that when an email comes in from you, it's probably some good stuff. It's probably going to be pretty interesting and they should check it out. I'll also say, don't send newsletters, by which I mean emails once every other month that have like 6 topics in them. Definitely don't fall into that pretty old school at this point form of email marketing. If you have 6 topics to share, you should send 6 emails spaced out over every week or every other week so that each topic gets its own chance for people to open it. Because as I mentioned before, email open rates are only at 20% or 25%. So if you bundle everything good you've gotten over the last 2 months into one email, and then 75% of your audience misses that email, it's very low absorption of your content. You should instead be making multiple attempts to get into their inbox, multiple attempts for them to open it, because that 20 to 25% open rate is not the same 25% every time. You're getting a slightly different mix of people. So if you send those 6 topics and 6 emails, it's a much higher likelihood that your content and your artwork will start to be absorbed by more of your audience. All right, Macy asks about copyright issues to be concerned about. Let me think. Not really. A lot of the copyright discussions that we have with our members are basically in a very gray area where it's like, and this is primarily for painting portraits based on photographs, selling photos of, businesses, things like that. There's some cases like this. And we always kind of fall to a place where it's like, if you want, laser accurate, perfect advice, you probably need to speak to some kind of legal counsel about this. But what we've experienced is no copyright issues ever with any of our thousands and thousands of members. And that's because none of them are doing anything egregious. This is gray area stuff, like they painted a portrait based on a photo and the painting is so full of texture. It's completely different. It's a completely different work. It would never become an issue. Or we have a guy that sells photos of Disney World. Could Disney reach out and say no more of that at some point? Potentially. They have not done so. He has a plan for if that happens. So there are a couple of discussions that we have, but it mostly resolves to you're probably fine, just because there's nothing really egregious happening. So that's where we're at. In terms of copyright beyond those types of cases, nothing else comes to mind. Yeah, natural follow-up from that is how the images are protected from others. So kind of the other way, not what you're up to, but what others can do with your images. So we do everything possible with the technology to protect your images. And that's as much as we can do, everything possible. So there's no right click on the website. So it's not that easy to right click and save. The images that are displayed on the website are automatically compressed to be just full of pleasing detail, but not the source images, so that you can upload one incredible resolution image for printing, and we'll automatically display a version of that image on the front end of the website that is not really high enough quality to get any decent print out of. You just upload once and we'll send Bay Photo, for example, the full quality so they can print it. And then, like I said, we'll display a little bit lower. However, we do all this stuff and there's still no refuting that there's not a perfect way to protect your images. We have watermarking that you can apply, but it doesn't work that well for conversion rates. So you've got to make that call yourself too. How much do I care about having a watermark, knowing that it makes it a little harder to sell the work because people can't fully immerse themselves in the purchase. It seems to have a subtle psychological negative impact. So you'll have to make that call yourself too. Overall, where we've settled on it is that we've had so few iffy cases of anything being done with any of our members' images that it's probably worth just letting all of that automatic stuff handle it, and then just don't worry a whole lot about it other than that, because it's not super realistic that you can spend decades on the internet and never have an image posted on an Instagram account that's not yours or something like that. So we're really dialed into how to get aggressive about any case where anyone's making any money off of your image, but it seems unrealistic that you'll be able to go by years and years and years online without the occasional thing popping up where it's like, wait, I just saw my awesome photo of, this national park on someone else's Instagram where they round up a bunch of national park pictures and it's got 10,000 likes, stuff like that happens. So you can reach out to them and get it taken down. But I would recommend starting from a point where it's like, okay, if I'm not literally getting ripped off by someone producing art prints, which, like I said, isn't very possible with the resolution that's displayed, I'm going to handle that, but I'm going to be prepared for that to eventually happen. And it's not going to be the end of the world. That's kind of the approach that I would have, is kind of a realistic take on that. And by the way, that explanation you're not really going to get from other website companies, right? Other website companies will tell you you're so secure, it's lock and key. It's never true. The images are never completely safe online. The best we can do is make sure no one has access to the high resolution versions. Someone asked about the new seller terms from Facebook sounding worrisome. Yeah, you'll get that. Facebook is trying to freak everyone out right now about iOS 14 and all of that. We haven't seen any impact to our members' ads yet, or our own ads account with Art Storefronts. So we're kind of waiting to see if there's any real impact. For now, everything's fine. So be aware they're going to be trying to freak out everyone to apply some pressure on Apple. But it's not a problem until it is. Once it is, we'll have all the advice on it as well. Alrighty. All right, well, we got a good second win there. Thanks again, everybody, for joining. If you're interested in the 5:30 demo, just let me know in the chat, 5:30 p.m. and your email address. We'll reach out, we'll get you the link to that. Other than that, you can always request a demo one-on-one by just going to our website. At the top right of the website, there's a big orange button that says request a demo. You can click that anytime to just get a pretty instant callback from us. And you can use that if you just like to ask a couple of questions, if you want to see a certain feature, whatever you want to do. It's a pretty open-ended call. It's not like you're just kind of dropped into a sales pitch or something like that. Requesting a demo really starts a conversation with our team. We have a lot of cases with our business where people aren't going to be a great fit for what we do. So we end up turning a fair amount of people away and saying, for these reasons, you might want to, think about it a little bit because we're not certain we can really help. Anyways, because that's the case with us, like I said, these demos are not really a hardcore sales pitch. It's much more open-ended conversation where it's like, well, what are you looking to do? And where's your business at so far? And once we kind of see, oh yeah, we can help you, which is the case most of the time, then we can get into, here's exactly what Art Storefronts is all about, and here's the tiers and all that sort of stuff. All that to say, don't be afraid of requesting that demo. It's a very relaxed process. And if you're not interested and it's not a good fit, we'll never call you ever again. Okay, thanks everybody. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Take care. Good luck with the rest of the year. Hopefully I talk to you on the inside in our member workshops so we can help you build your art business this year. Take care.